Today, we are diving into a story that is unfolding far above us, in the darkness of space, where satellites quietly watch, track, listen, and guide the technologies that power modern life. But for two nations, Israel and China, space has become the new battlefield, a place where the world's most advanced intelligence systems collide without a single shot fired on Earth. This is the silent war, the hidden strategic duel shaping the future of global power. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Our story begins in the early 2000s, when both nations realized that space was no longer just a frontier. It was the backbone of every modern military. GPS navigation, missile warning systems, encrypted communications, satellite imaging, long-range surveillance, cyber intelligence. Every part of warfare now depended on orbiting machines. And both Israel and China understood that whoever controlled space would quietly control the battlefield. For Israel, this challenge meant building a space program completely different from the giants like the United States, Russia, and China. Israel didn't have the budget to launch endless satellites or build huge rocket fleets. Instead, it focused on one thing: precision. Make fewer satellites, but make them smarter, faster, harder to spot, and nearly impossible to disable. The result was the OFAC satellite family, one of the world's most advanced military surveillance networks. The first major move came with the OFAC 3 and OFAC 5 generations, more lightweight satellites capable of delivering high-resolution images far beyond their size. Later came OFAC 9 and OFAC 11, built to operate in extremely low orbits to capture ultra-clear tactical imagery. These satellites were agile, difficult to track, and designed to survive in hostile environments that would disable others. This was Israel's opening move in the silent space war. China, meanwhile, was rapidly expanding its space dominance. With massive funding and rocket systems like the Long March series, China launched entire constellations of reconnaissance satellites, including Yaogan, Gaofen, and Tianhui. These arrays provided near-continuous imaging coverage across the globe and supported missile tracking, naval targeting, and electronic intelligence. China's approach was brute force: build as many satellites as possible and overwhelm rivals through volume and redundancy. But Israel had a different strategy. Rather than compete with numbers, it developed a layered intelligence ecosystem that integrated its satellites with ground surveillance, cyber systems, and artificial intelligence-powered analysis networks. Each pieces worked together like a digital brain in the sky. If China wanted to dominate orbit through quantity, Israel aimed to dominate through quality and speed. The silent competition intensified further when both nations began developing anti-satellite capabilities. China tested a kinetic anti-satellite weapon in 2007, destroying its own Feng-1C satellite and shocking the world. That test revealed China's ability to blind an opponent by eliminating key space assets during conflict. Israel, however, took a different path. Instead of blowing satellites out of orbit, Israel focused on electronic warfare, signal disruption, and cyber infiltration. The idea was simple: why destroy a satellite when you can control it, disrupt it, or feed it false data? Israeli defense firms built advanced systems capable of scrambling hostile satellite links and misdirecting targeting information. This approach was quieter, safer, and more flexible, and it fit perfectly into the silent war concept. As the years passed, both nations expanded their networks. China built the Beidou navigation system, a direct competitor to GPS, giving Beijing independent control over global navigation. Israel responded with tighter integration between its satellites and its missile defense systems, including Arrow 3 and Arrow 5, both of which rely on real-time space-based tracking to intercept threats outside the atmosphere. Israel's space program wasn't just about imaging anymore. It was about protecting the nation from long-range rockets and strategic surprise. The competition escalated again when China deployed space-based laser systems, electronic jammers, and high-altitude drones capable of reaching near-space altitudes. Meanwhile, Israel tested new miniaturized spy satellites, codenamed OPSAT, which could be launched rapidly in wartime and begin imaging within hours. And behind all of this was something even quieter, a cyber war. Both sides developed tools to penetrate satellite command links, track data streams, or disrupt communications during conflict. These operations rarely make headlines, but experts believe that dozens of satellite-based cyber intrusions happen every month, each one testing defenses, probing weaknesses, or mapping communication channels. The most dramatic twist came recently, when reports emerged that Israel's latest OFAC-16 satellite was capable of identifying objects at resolutions previously thought impossible for such a small platform. Analysts believe it can track not just vehicles and aircraft, but even shifting patterns of infrastructure and movement. China responded by launching high-resolution optical satellites that analysts call the eyes of the dragon. Meanwhile, geopolitical tension made the space race even more important. Conflicts in the Middle East, competition in the Indo-Pacific, and global technology rivalry meant satellites were no longer optional. They were essential to national survival. Israel relied on space intelligence to monitor missile activity, track military movements, and prevent surprise attacks. China relied on space networks to support naval expansion, missile guidance, and global surveillance. But here's the real twist. The silent war is not just about Israel vs. China. It's about who will shape the future of warfare. Will it be nations with massive rocket fleets, or nations with smarter, faster, AI-driven satellite webs? Will the decisive weapon be a kinetic interceptor, a laser, a cyber tool, or a tiny satellite the size of a suitcase that can maneuver faster than enemies can track? And the biggest question, what happens when these satellites become fully autonomous? AI-managed space surveillance is coming. Israel is building AI systems that can analyze intelligence faster than human analysts. China is integrating AI into satellites, swarm formations. Both nations are preparing for a future where conflicts begin with digital moves in space before a single missile is launched on Earth. As we close today's story, remember this. The next major conflict may be decided not by aircraft or tanks, but by the silent machines orbiting far above our heads. Israel's precision strategy and China's massive expansion are both reshaping global security. The silent war continues, and its outcome will define the balance of power for decades. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.